Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. I'm going to promise you I'm going to try to keep this as unbiased as I possibly can. But pretty great day to be a South African at the moment. So,
Welcome to Unbiased Rugby.
I've actually had a feedback there. Welcome Ultimate Sharpshooter to the show. I've had a pretty awesome day. I've been nervous the whole day. I'll be honest. I woke up super early and I was still nervous till got to the kickoff, and I was nervous. Look, I'm going to be fairly honest. I didn't think we had that performance in us. Hey, 11 just said, welcome to the show. I honestly didn't think we had that kind of performance in us. I thought it would be same old from the Springboks. So I think Russie must have they really left something out there in the arsenal. Look, I'm going to say, listen, I'm happy for the boys. I really am. You really got to put this into context. South Africa, we're not in world champions, but we know the number one team in the world at the moment according to the world rankings, and we haven't been that in over 10 years. In over 10 years, we haven't been the number one team in the world. Like literally, we haven't. It's always been New Zealand or somebody else, and yeah. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Joe. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Mr. Rugby fan. Welcome to the show. So yeah, I was just trying to say that it's been real dark days to be a Springbok supporter. Really dark days. From that Albany loss, from losing to Ireland very convincingly in Ireland. People were looking at South Africa as becoming a tier 2 nation. Like literally, that's what it felt like. And it was really difficult to be a Springbok supporter in those days. It really was difficult. And, I started my channel. I literally started my channel just after we lost to Albany. And I started this channel to try to be a positive voice for Springbok rugby. I really did, and for South African rugby. I really wanted to have a positive platform where somebody was just out there just talking positive things about the Springboks, because everyone had put us down. Everyone thought we were has-beens and we were completely gone. And to look where Russie took over from Alistair Coetzee to where we are today, I feel really not just proud of the boys, but glad that I stuck with them. I really did stick with them, and I'm glad that my channel's grown and that I've been able to share my love for my team with the rest of the world. When I started this channel, I did call it Unbiased Rugby, but watch my first video and you'll see why I called it that. Real tongue in cheek. It's but I try to be completely unbiased about the actual rugby itself. I always reward teams that play well, and I started this channel with Gordon as well, my late father-in-law, and he would have been absolutely wonderful. Mr. Rugby fan, I actually don't drink. I have one beer maybe a month. I'm not a big drinker. So yeah, I don't have that release. I normally have to watch the games in complete nervousness, because I can't have it. I don't normally drink to wash it all away. But yeah, coming back to Gordon, he would have loved this World Cup from start to finish. He would have been wearing a Japanese jersey. He would have thought they were the most amazing team in the world, because that's the kind of guy he was. He would have been absolutely over the moon today. He really would have been. And for him, it was always about the rugby. It was never about anything else. And I'm sad that I don't actually have this time to share with him. But he would have been as happy as I was today. But now let's get back to the game. I honestly did not see the South Africans playing this way today. I thought it would be a grind, as they normally do. I thought it would have been a lot more kicks. I thought it would be a grind. I thought we would have ground them down into submission. It's biased rugby. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, it is. But yeah, I agree with the ultimate sharpshooter about that game. I think the writing was on the wall from that first scrum, where Beast just had absolute parity over that scrum. And for a long time, people have been talking about scrums. Oh, scrums is rubbish. Why do we still have them? And that's why. When a team has that kind of dominance in a scrum, when you get scrum penalties, and you can get, because the secret to a scrum penalty is it's not really about the scrum. It's obviously there to get the penalty, but it's about getting territory. It's about getting, as a team. Even if you don't get the penalty, but you go forward by an inch, just an inch. That's all you need, just an inch, and you have that ascendancy, and that's what it's all about. That's what scrumming is for me. I could watch scrums all day. So I think it was from there. When Carl Sinclair went down, I was super disappointed. I really like Carl Sinclair. I think he's an absolutely exceptional player. And for him to go out that way was really was not good, and I'm hope looks like he was good, because I never ever want to see a player go down like that. When I saw him go down and I saw Dane Coles come on, I just know that Dane Coles is a good prop, but he's not in the same league as Beast and Tyrera. He really is not in the same league. Carl Sinclair is. I really do. I think it would have been a little bit different if Carl Sinclair had stayed on that field. But I think then the writing was on the wall when we started getting the penalties there. At that point, it just thought, okay, South Africa's just going to go for scrum after scrum after scrum. Yes, I know. I think England got one scrum back. I think South Africa were expecting Channel 1 ball, and England got over that. They really demolished the South African scrum. But look. I'd hate to call someone very poor, Mr. Rugby fan. He was poor today, and he has been a really, really good scrummager in the past. But he's no Carl Sinclair at the moment. Carl Sinclair is in exceptional form, and he's still young. That's what's amazing me about Carl Sinclair, because props only really start getting into their swing when they're in their 30s. My personal opinion, I think props when they're about 32, they are peaking. They are at the absolute height of their physical strength, because prop strength comes from a different place. It's not the same as that super energetic, burst strength. It's about super core strength for me when it comes to the type 5. So for me, props only really start peaking at about 32. So Carl Sinclair is going to be probably the informed tight head going forward. That's how much I rate Carl Sinclair. And when he went down, I think not the writing was on the wall, but I just felt that England were on the back foot at that point. And with Andre Pollard, with his kicking, I know he missed the first kick, but with the kicks on Song, that's what it's all about. It's about creating scoreboard pressure, and that's also Owen Farrell's job. It's also for him to create the scoreboard pressure when the penalties come. I think the other turning point in the game was when England were on our try line, and we kept them out, and it was only just became a penalty, and then England went for the 3 points. I think that was the golden opportunity for either England to go for a scrum, which go for Channel 1 ball, or go for the line out. I think that was the time when they should have gone for the jugular, but they didn't. They took the 3 points, which, in the context of the game, yes, it makes sense for you to go for the 3 points. But I think at that point, when South Africa was so far back, it was the time to throw salt into the wounds and do it. But when South Africa kept them out and only conceded the 3 points, I thought, okay, that was really, really brilliant. A few things have changed in this World Cup. Do you know that South Africa has never scored a try in a World Cup before today? They've never scored a try. They've never had a try scored against them in a World Cup final. I'm talking a World Cup final. So South Africa never scored a try in a World Cup final. So for Makazole and Pimpy to score the first try for South Africa in a World Cup final, I'm absolutely over the moon for the guy. A lot of people have giving me stick about Lukhanyo Arm, why I rate him so much, and that's why I rate him so much. It was an absolute piece of brilliance what he did, because he could have gone for the line himself, but he could see that Makazole and Pimpy was in a much better position to actually get the ball underneath the sticks. So other issue that I thought Curry and Underhill played okay. I thought Underhill played an exceptional game. I thought Itoje played really well, I just think, the back line just was not firing on all cylinders forward. When he kicked out directly, it did change. It's those little things that, in the last game when they played against New Zealand, which I thought was probably one of the best performances from a rugby side ever, the way that England played. It's those little moments. It's those little moments where, if it was again the last game, that kick would have been 30 centimeters in, and then when you just nod on something, it's 30 centimeters out. So yeah, it's those little moments that change the aspect of the game. And then when Mapipi scored that try, I just thought, okay, it's going to be super difficult for I think it would have been 7 + 6. It was only 13 points in the lead. I thought, okay, it's still doable. England can still bounce back. But then when Cheslin Colby scored that try, I just thought, okay, that's it. It's done. It's a done deal. And then from that moment, every single, there's one thing that England's known for, and it's dominant tackles. You watch it in the Premiership, and they actually rate the dominant tackles. So it's not just tackles, it's dominant tackles. And at one point, England just could not get out of their half, especially it was relentless pressure from the box. Look, let's be honest. You've got all these guys, I've got all the people watching here. Who would have thought South Africa would have played like that today? I don't think anyone here on this channel would have thought that. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think South Africa had the firepower to be able to do that. We've known that in Super Rugby, we've seen the players play like this, but I wasn't expecting that, I really wasn't. Was it? Okay, Joe. I didn't. I thought we would have relied on our forwards, played 10-man rugby, and, every once in a while, then we'd give it out to our wings or something like that. I thought it was going to be a grind. I really thought it was going to be a similar game to Wales, and it wasn't. From that opening, I never lost faith. I'll be honest with the Boers of Fuzz. I don't know how to pronounce that. I never lost faith. I love the boys to absolute bits. I just thought it would have been a grind. I really honestly thought it would be a grind. I thought we would have to, the same as how we've won previous World Cups. That's how you win World Cups. It's scoreboard pressure, it's penalties, it's very, very few tries. But for me, South Africa left their best game for last, and I also hope, Daniel, welcome to the show. I also hoped we would play that way. I didn't think it was possible that we could play that kind of style. But it just goes to show that if you have decent set piece, proper set piece dominance, you're always going forward. It just makes it so much easier for Andre Pollard. He had so much time. The guy was playing heads up rugby. He was kicking to the right spots. Even they were doing cross-field kicks. We don't, South Africa toy with that kind of stuff, but we finally seem to get to the right point. Is it a case that maybe England played their big game last week? I don't think so. I think England have the skill and the firepower they could have won the game today. It's just South Africa won the game line, and that's how England beat New Zealand. It's all about the game line, and a team like South Africa and England, I know how South Africa are. Let's be honest. If South Africa don't win the game line, they're not going to win the game. That's how South Africa play, and I think England play a very, very similar kind of a game. They've got some really incredible ball carriers, but they were really taken out of the game. Yeah, it's actually ultimate sharpshooter Dalende. He gets a lot of stick, but I think our centre field pairing are. I don't know. You know what? At the end of the day, I still think. In all honesty, watching that bronze game yesterday with. I don't know. I don't know. I think we've played like that against Namibia, Canada, and we've played against teams that we was quite easy to be dominant over, but we've never really had that really dominant display against a real class outfit, and England are a class outfit. And mark my words, guys, mark my words. At any given day, it could have been New Zealand that could have taken it. It could have been South Africa. It could have been Australia on any given day. England. Yeah, I was also. The bookies had put South Africa not to win it at all. Like literally a 3% chance of us winning, and we pulled it out of the bag. And that's great. Look, there's a lot of firsts that have happened in this World Cup. No coach has taken over a team 18 months out of a World Cup and won a World Cup. No team in Southern Hemisphere have won this Rugby Championship and gone on to win a World Cup or Tri-Nations. Done. No team has ever lost a game in the pool stages and won, and it's just happened. So now it's completely changed, and I think that's great. I think it's great that we don't have this history that's hanging over us. We can go into the next World Cup, which I'm really looking forward to, because I think it's going to be an awesome World Cup in 2023. And I think the England side is young. I think the France side is extremely young. Intermac and all those players. I think France are the team to watch for the next World Cup. But yeah, coming back to the game, if I look at this, meters 369 to 201 to South Africa. The big telling stat is South Africa were tackling 92% tackle completion. That's just absolutely phenomenal. If I look at, but it's not walls. Let's look at offloaders. No, it's just a bit further down here. Scrums won. South Africa 11 out of 11. That's just absolutely phenomenal. And if I look at the 10 penalties that England got, I think 5 of them were at scrum time, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 5 at scrum time, and I think that's what changed the whole aspect of the game. What did I think of Leroux? Finally, he had a great game. I thought he had an absolutely marvelous game. That one kick that he did across from his left foot was exceptionally good, and when it went out at the back there, really put Daly under a lot of pressure. But you could see the difference between Ches and Colby Hay read the one move, because our defensive structure relies heavily on the outside backs making exceptionally good reads, and Ches and Colby made an exceptionally good read, and it really did stop that one try in its tracks. Whereas the previous week where Wales actually got the try, because Sabu was still stuck between the two systems. I'm just going to look at some of the player stats here. And obviously, I always look at defending first, as you guys know. Look, Maro Itoje, 16 tackles. I still think Maro Itoje is an absolute world-class player. Literally is on my top 5 list of best forwards in the world. He is. And the other player that has really come onto my radar, I've really liked him for a long time, even when he was playing with, watched him play with Bath, is Sam Underhill. I think Sam Underhill is an exceptional player, and sorry, I'm just trying to read that. So yeah, it looks like we only win the World Cup every 12 years, but that's fine. Every 12 years is fine. But yeah, Maro Itoje had a great defensive game. But if I look at Sia Khaleesi, 13 tackles, Etzebeth 13. So it's pretty across the board. 11 for Malcolm Marx. Peter Steph's normally pretty high, but also 11 tackles. So yeah, a lot of the tight 5. Frans Malherbe, 11 tackles. That's not, you don't normally hear Frans Malherbe tackling like that. But here's the big telling stat, guys, and this is what I think was the game changer. It says, I think every single back, bar Clerk and Willie Leroux, had over 50 meters in runs. That is, we seldom see that from a South African side, and not one of the England side was over 50. I think the highest was Johnny May. I thought he also had a pretty good game. But yeah, Dwayne Vermeulen also 46 meter runs. I did think Dwayne Vermeulen was man of the match. I thought it was. He's also in my top 5, by the way. So yeah, 3 of my top 5 forwards are actually playing at the moment in this game. So yeah. look, I'm not one of those people to throw salt in the wound. I'm definitely not that kind of person. I'm super happy for the guys. I'm disappointed I'm sure England are super disappointed that they didn't get the victory because, in all honesty, they were the informed team for most of the World Cup. It's just they just didn't pitch up on the day, and that's knockout rugby, guys. That's just how knockout rugby works. Who would be your player of the tournament? I think Underhill has had the most tackles. I think it would be a forward. My player of the tournament. Peter Steff, maybe. I just think he's played every single minute of every single game this year. But yeah, it would probably be one of the loose trio. It would either be Peter Steff or I've thought Underhill has had an exceptional tournament. Which box do you think make team of the tournament? Makazole and Pimpi, for absolute sure. I think he'll make team of the tournament. Other backline players, maybe Colby, but I think there were other better wingers out there, especially with Colby injured for most of the thing. But I think the only one that would really make the backline would probably be Makazole and Pimpi. For me, the premier finisher in the competition this year. I don't think any other. Number 8, you can't go past Dwayne Vermeulen. Come on, guys, let's be completely honest. You can't go past Dwayne Vermeulen. And I have to bring up Peter Steff du Toit because there has been this real drive to get rid of blindside flankers, and I could not understand why we want to get rid of blindside flankers. I think blindside flankers bring something exceptionally special to the game, and I can see why New Zealand and a lot of teams have been playing with it. But let's be honest, New Zealand it's more of an issue with Delende. Yes, maybe. Yeah, I actually didn't even think of that. Delende also would probably make 12, but Jerome Kainer, we left New Zealand and they haven't had a decent replacement for a decent blindside. Maybe Liam Squire, but I think he's also got a few issues. But I'm glad that we had a blindside flanker in the game, and it just goes to show why you have it, why you have a smaller feature type player, why you have a blindside flanker, why you have a big ball carrying number 8. So it's a balance that you have in your team. Other players that would make it, I think Beast would be my number one. Would make number 1. 2, I think Jamie George would probably be my number 2 for the tournament. I'll be honest. 3, I thought Carl Sinclair. Besides today, I thought he's an exceptional tournament. 4, Mario Toje, without a shadow of a doubt. I think he is the absolute best number 4 currently playing. 5, actually, I couldn't think of a 5. The 7 definitely would be Peter Steff du Toit, even though he traditionally would be a 6. 8, Dwayne Vermeulen. I think those would be my kind of players that probably make it into a team of the tournament. No, I would probably have Dwayne Vermeulen. Sorry guys, my mind's going a little bit blank there. But yeah, that would be actually quite interesting. I think I'll do a video this next coming week, and I'll just go through some of the stats, and I'll try to figure out my team of the tournament. I think it's going to be mostly English, a lot of New Zealand players, quite a few South Africans, I think 1 or 2 Irish players who really stood out for me, quite a few Wales players as well, that especially in their back line. I think Hadley Parks and I think the other Joseph. It's been a long World Cup remembering names. Somebody. Artie Sevilla, yes, that's the name I was trying to think of. Artie Sevilla would also make my team. But yeah, I can't go past Underhill or Curry. It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. So maybe it might be better to have a match day 23, because let's be honest, it's a 23-man game. But yeah, I've kept you guys for way too long now. I'm just going to say something quickly about this World Cup. For me, this has probably been one of the best World Cups ever. There has been some magic moments in other World Cups. I think last 2015 World Cup, it was pretty much set in stone that New Zealand were going to win. I think this World Cup, we went into it, there were 5 teams that honestly could have vied for the competition for the end. It did come down to 4 teams that I felt absolutely deserved their spot in the semi-finals. Obviously, South Africa, Wales, England and New Zealand. I think they thoroughly deserved their place in the semi-final. And do I think the 2 best teams made it? Yeah, because it's knockout rugby. It's everything that happens on the day. But I have to say, I thought every single stadium was filled. The Japanese crowd was absolutely amazing. I thought the Japanese team played well. I think it was probably one of the best organized, the best World Cup to date. I think France would have to do something exceptionally special to have a better World Cup than what Japan have just produced. Because we went in the competition not knowing who was going to win. We had our inklings, and we ended up the competition, exactly. The twist and turn in this World Cup was just absolutely phenomenal. We had a team like Japan that have now catapulted themselves onto the world stage convincingly. Let's be honest. Convincingly, they've catapulted them on, and I'm hoping that Japan can invest more money into that side, and they can get more competition against other Tier 1 nations, because they honestly deserve it. They play in the Pacific Cup and stuff like that, and they honestly are the best team in that competition, so they deserve to go up. Oh, God, I love you, Mr. Rugby fan. Namibia to win the next Rugby World Cup in France. I think that was the big disappointment from the thing. I was hoping Namibia would play Canada and Namibia would get their first victory. You know, our brothers across the border. Yes. I think Russie might get Coach of the Year. Let's be honest. I think from where he took the team to where it is now, I think that all the rugby awards that happen tomorrow, I think it's going to be heavily swayed by the World Cup. That's just the way it is. Yeah, the nice thing about I'll be honest, my biasness now. I'm happy for the boys. As a South African, I'm happy for this, that we won. No one can take this away from us for the next 4 years. We're the world champions, and I'm not gonna be embarrassed about it. I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm happy, because that's just the way it is. Who do you think is going to be World Rugby Player of the Year? If it was for me to choose, I would have gone with Pieter-Steph du Toit, because he has played every single game. He always is into double figures. I'm not sure if they show but it will be on. I'm sure it will be on the World Rugby site. It will be. For me, Pieter-Steph du Toit literally is my World Player of the Year. I know that the other players that are up for the award paint my house green, Don. And my wife also has a say into how the house gets painted, so I don't think that's going to happen. There's a competition to win a Land Rover in South Africa, but it's got full Springbok emblem on it and the whole thing. And my wife said she wouldn't drive with me, so I doubt I'm going to get painted by house green. But yeah, overall, it's been a wonderful couple of weeks. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There's been ups and there's been downs. There's been excitement. There's been great tries. There's been upsets. There's been great victories from England last week, game for the ages. A great victory today for South Africa. So yeah, overall for me, I'm super excited about this Rugby World Cup, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And I've thoroughly enjoyed doing my 6 o'clock shows, and I've thoroughly enjoyed everyone coming onto the channel and having a chat. Thanks to Modern Bok and Overlap Rugby, and the Rugby Analyst, for really contributing and to a successful World Cup. Because I've looked at lots of other YouTube channels out there, and the guys have really got into it. I look at 2 Cents; he's doing all those live shows. And really, you took time off work to actually be part of it, and I think that's what's made it such a great inclusive World Cup. Is that everyone's been involved. Everyone's done some great content. We've had some great people passing comments on the channel. And the other nice thing is that it hasn't been, it's been friendly banter. And that's what's been the most amazing thing about it. It's just been friendly banter. And I'm glad we're at that point where we can actually, you can say you love your team and not be blown out of the water, you know, in this day of this day of social media and Twitter and YouTube, you know, some people can be quite harsh, and I'm so glad that it hasn't happened in this World Cup. So yeah, guys, I'll do one more show for my team of the year, probably next weekend. My team for the year, maybe team for the World Cup, and then I normally have my rugby awards near the end of the year. But yeah, I think it's been an absolutely wonderful World Cup. Thanks for everyone for joining me on my channel. Thanks for everyone for commenting. And I just want to say I miss you, Gordon. And you would have been, I miss you. And you would have been a great addition for me to watch my channel today. And I miss having my best friend actually watching TV with me. But listen, guys, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful week. Please be kind to everyone. Everyone deserves some happiness and friendship and things like that. And if you just treat everyone with love, everything will work out for us. Chat soon. Cheers.